Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Wrestling Experience. Proudly presents the Wrestling Chronicles. The Wrestling Chronicles is back and in full effect here this afternoon. And the Wrestling Chronicles is back in full effect this afternoon. And we want to welcome you all to the streams. We want to welcome you all in between, and we want to welcome you to today's juicy, hot topics for wrestling. So we've got a lot to discuss. We have a new segment on the show we're going to talk about. We're also going to be discussing the McMahon scandal. We're going to close with that. And we're going to talk about so much more for you here this afternoon and the hardcore sports. So sit back and enjoy the ride of the Wrestling Chronicles, powered by the Hardcore Sports. And it's all for you here today, this afternoon, for you right now on the Wrestling Chronicles.
You've landed on the Logo ship. Welcome to Planet Experience. Welcome to the Wrestling Experience.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Wrestling Chronicles. My name is Earl, and I am the host of the Wrestling Experience. So today, this afternoon, we're going to be discussing Ronda Rousey, Mr. McMahon, and now we're going to give you what I call Around the Horn. So we're going to have a new segment here at the Wrestling Chronicles. It's called Around the Horn, and we hope that you all will enjoy it because these wrestling stories have come to you from the Observer and other wrestling news outlets. So I just want to let you all know that. And don't shoot the messenger because, hey, I'm just here to report. I'm not, I didn't write these. So, but let's talk about the first topic. We're going to talk about Around the Horn, and it's per Observer. WWE's main roster minimum salary is 350,000. Can you imagine 350,000? Now let me ask you all something. Can you live off of 350,000 per year? $350,000 per year. Can you live on that? Yeah, I think you can. I think you can, to be honest with you. Um, oh, hey, Nick, how are you today? Yes, Nick, how you doing? Thank you so much for your time and energy. Have a good stream. And so what we're going to do? What can you do here? What can you do if you make that kind of money per year? Well, there's always taxes that comes out of it. Just always some taxes that comes out of it, and yeah, the superstars, the main roster. That's what they make. That's what they make per year. 300 is 3,000. That's not a bad paycheck to sneeze at, to be honest with you. 350,000. Wow, something else. All right, so we got that going on. Um, let's talk about this next one around the horn. AEW negotiations with Warner Brothers Discovery, including the streaming right deal, but the current talks are said to not be serious regarding the purchase of the pay-per-view rights. So apparently AEW is not happy with the negotiations and where it's going. Tony Khan is not happy. Well, here's the thing with Tony Khan. Here's the thing with Tony Khan. The problem that I have with this is that he has to clean up his own mess before he could even talk about a streaming rights deal. I've said this before, and I'll say this again, and I keep saying this over and over again. Tony Khan has to fix several issues with AEW before he can even get into the streaming business. First of all, the attendance has to come up. The attendance has to come up. And we all know that. We all know that the attendance has to be put in place. Then you have disgruntled employees and wrestlers who say that they're not getting enough push. So that has to be fixed. That has to be fixed. Also, what has to be fixed is your lack of being friends with your employees and being friends with them and buddy buddy, and you let them get slide away with different things and make them run the locker room. That's not how you run a business. So Tony Khan has several issues. Tony Khan has several issues that he needs to address, and he's not addressing them. So I don't want to hear. I don't want to hear that Tony Khan has an issue. He has several issues, and this streaming deal, I don't think is ever going to happen because the attendance is terrible. Tony Khan has still not, as of yet, sold out a pay-per-view, a television taping, or anything of that nature. And the WWE, I hate bringing up the WWE versus AEW, but here's the thing: in AEW, in WWE land, the WWE sold out 21, 22 consecutive sellouts of their TV tapings with Raw and SmackDown. That's unheard of. But that's what they did. And WrestleMania, despite the weather, the fans still came out and made record numbers. There you go, the sports OU. And and the WWE made record numbers on the attendance. So I don't want to hear that the WWE is this and no, they're doing what they need to do because they had a live event team. And I've said this before and I'll say this again. Tony Khan needs a live event team. You can't sit there and tell me you don't need a yes you do. You need a marketing and you need a live event team. How is that possible? That's why he's not happy with these negotiations because he knows he can't go to anybody and say, I got a strong product. No, you don't. You can't sit there and tell me you can't sit there and tell me that you have a strong you don't. So Tony Khan is gonna have an issue he's going to have an issue with getting this streaming deal done. To be honest with you, he's going to have big problems. And then tying into what I just said, according to the Wrestling Observer, the numbers being talked about in the AEW negotiations with a new TV deal is said to be considerably more than the range that the company profitable, which is worth $110 million per year. There's also talk of figures being 50% above, as much as nearly double the current number said to be already on the table. So what that basically means is that Tony Khan wants more for the TV rights, and they're going back and forth with the TV. But again, like I said before, and I'll say it again, I'll say it before, I'll say it again, that he needs to fix these issues, and fix it he must. But he won't. Again, like I said before, and I'll say it again, if you don't address something, if you don't address something, it's going to get worse. It's going to get worse. It's not going to get any better for the person involved in it. It's going to make it worse. And that's the problem that I have with Tony Khan. That's the problem. All right. So we move on from that, and let's go to WrestleVotes. WrestleVotes indicates that possible the TNA Knockout Champion Jordan Grace will defeat the NXT Women's Champion Roxanne Perez at next Sunday's Battleground. And for what it's worth, the pay-per-view insider says that some WWE claims that Roxanne Perez legitimately did not know who would be walking out until Grace appeared live on television earlier this week on NXT. So she had no idea that Jordan Grace was coming out. She had no idea. Um, I don't know if they're going to make her drop the strap to Jordan Grace. That's a great question. And inquiring minds want to know that if Jordan Grace is going to defeat Roxanne Perez for the title. We'll have to wait and see what happens with that next Sunday on pay-per-view. Actually, on Peacock. Excuse me. So we're gonna have to see. We're gonna have to wait and see with that. But and then they said the insiders believe that WWE will have some NXT involvement at the TNA Against All Odds in Chicago on the 14th, possibly Slammiversary in Montreal as well. So the WWE is getting interwoven, as I like to call it, interwoven with TNA. So some WWE elements will be bled into what they're saying here in the article, in the Slammiversary and Against All Odds in Chicago, which, by the way, is on June 14th, the same day as the Clash of the Castle. So that should be interesting. That should be interesting indeed. All right. Let's see here. So, our okay. So, what do you guys think about that? What do you guys think about that in the chat? What do you think? Will Jordan Grace become the new NXT Women's Champion? Dro, what's up? How are you? How are you doing, Dro? Thank you so much for your time and energy. All right, let's talk about this. A former WWE champion on Friday Night SmackDown brand has made his exit from AEW. It's been a it's been a wild year in the land of pro wrestling, and many talents are making moves to other promotions. Now that Cassidy Haynes of BodySlam.net is reporting that Jake Hager, formerly known as Jack Swagger, in the WWE is no longer a member of the AEW roster. Haynes notes that Hager has not re-signed with the company and has parted ways mutually. So he's gone from AEW. He's gone. And I think Jack Swagger could be back in WWE. I think he might just call Triple H on the horn and maybe negotiate something. That would be interesting. That would be interesting indeed. Um, so I think that would be very interesting to have Swagger back in the WWE. What do you guys think? What do you guys think? Let me know in the chat what you think. I think Swagger going back to the WWE may be a good thing for him. I think it's a good shot in the arm. So I want to know what your thoughts are. What your thoughts are in the chat. What's your thoughts? Do you think Swagger would be good going back to the WWE? Do you think he would be good going back to the WWE? I would think so. Um, they really didn't do much for him to be, if you want me to be quite honest, you know, to be quite honest with you. Also, I want to get back to Jordan Grace for a second. According to the recent report from Fightful Select, TNA Knockouts champion Jordan Grace signed a part-time agreement. So she has an agreement with the WWE, which allows her to make 3 appearances. So she's allowed to have 3 appearances, guys. This includes her appearance on this week's NXT show, her match with Stevie Turner next week, and then her NXT Championship match against Roxanne Perez. The part-time agreement is reported to be worth six-figure payment. He's got the roundup. He's got the roundup. Mac the Giant is in the building. Hey Mac, how you doing today? So Jordan Grace is getting six figures for a part-time um, appearance in WWE. I don't have any issues with it. She's doing three different appearances. She's being paid six figures to do it. I don't have a problem with this. All right. I don't know about you guys. I don't know what you guys are feeling about that. But she did sign a she I'm doing great. How about you? I'm doing well, Mac. Thank you so much. And Mac, again, I want to thank you for participating on Wednesday's show. For Jeffrey, you were really good. You were honest and you were forthright. And I couldn't have asked for a better co-pilot than you, Mac. You were absolutely great. And thank you again for your time and energy on Wednesday night. I greatly appreciate it. Um, but what do you guys think about Jordan Grace and her appearance and the money she's making and her she's only going to be doing 3 appearances? Would you want to see her more on NXT, or would you think that 3 is enough? That her appearance is enough. The 3 is enough. Let me know. Let me know what you think. I don't know what you're thinking, but let me know what you think. Oh, Sarah, how are you? Mm. Sarah says, I think partnerships WWE and with TNA is great and will lead to some awesome matches. Yeah, I agree with that, Sarah. I agree with your assessment. I think this partnership is great. And Jordan Grace, she came out in NXT. She shocked the people. She shocked the audience. And she came out, and now she's going to be in the WWE fabric. And she has 3 appearances to be contractually obligated to do. So I think it's good. All right. Now we're going to go to bitter Ronda Rousey. Um, I wouldn't want. I think that you start with 3 and then build it from there. Yeah, I agree, Mac. I think you started from 3 and then build it up. And Sarah said, I wouldn't mind seeing Jordan Grace more, maybe mixing it up on the main roster too. Well, that's an interesting concept. How about this, Sarah? Let me see if you can clue into this. How about Jordan Grace taking on Shayna Baszler? How about that in the main roster? We're gonna see who makes who snap tap or nap. How about that? All that potpourri of action just for you, Sarah. All that potpourri of action. Yeah. Oh my God, I would love that. Yeah, wouldn't you love that? All that potpourri of action, Sarah. Mm. Yeah, all of that. All of that. Don't forget, at the end of these Wrestling Chronicles, I'm going to bring out 2 pieces of the McMahon scandal that I forgot to. That would be a whole basket of potpourri of action. You're absolutely right. Uh, There'll be a whole basket full of that potpourri of action because I think that match would be off the hook. And you know what? And you know what? I would like to see maybe at SummerSlam, Jordan Grace and Shayna Baszler. I wouldn't mind that at all. Special attraction match. I wouldn't mind that at all. And we're gonna see who makes each other snap tap on that in Cleveland, Ohio. Why not? Mm. So so I would like to see it. I don't know if it would happen, but in my mind I would like to see it. Dro, what you said? I wish Mia Yim was there for AJ Styles last time. Well, yeah, I understand what you're saying, bro. But he came out with the Good Brothers, and they messed up Cody Rhodes. That's what the thing calls for. But if you wanna, we're talking about Jordan Grace, so we're not talking. Well, if you want to watch SmackDown last night, we did the SmackDown with Martina. I want to thank Martina for her participation on SmackDown last night. That show is on the Hardcore Sports and on my channel. You can go and Martina's channel. You can go back and watch the encore presentation of the show, and you could be part of it. Chad, what is up? How are you, my friend? How you doing today? Um, and okay, so let's talk about this. Ronda Rousey. Now, if you all don't know, like, I did a Ronda Rousey state of address. Um, Last time I did Friday Night SmackDown. Bitter Ronda Rousey, as I call her. She's always clapping at the WWE. First, she called it a shit show. Then she called it a casting couch, and she just went on and on and she keeps clapping back. So now, courtesy of wrestling news, Ronda Rousey, in her autobiography, Our Fight, which is the name of her book, Rousey labeled WWE minimum effort, lazy ass shit show. So I'm just repeating what she said. It's not what I think. This is what she said. I'm gonna I'm gonna read it line by line. Okay, so listen. The language that I'm gonna use. I'm gonna say this again. I'm gonna put a disclaimer out there. The language that I'm about to use is not coming from me, and it reflects nothing on the wrestling experience, and it reflects nothing on me. This is not how I feel. This is just what was written and what was taken out of the article from the wrestling news. And this is an excerpt, as they call it, from Ronda Rousey's book. Okay, so listen to this. Listen to this. This is her autobiography. It's called Our Fight. Okay, so Ronda Rousey says, and I quote, Ronda Rousey says, Ronda Rousey labeled WWE a minimum effort, lazy ass shit show. Wish list recalling backstage encounters she had with Triple H. She stated, "Listen, I told you I'd be here until SummerSlam," I said. "And I'm a woman of my word, but I'm done after this. All I want when I get into this business was a tag with Shayna. Her her turn on me, then put her over before I leave. We have until SummerSlam to make that happen. After that, I'm done being associated with the minimum effort, lazy ass shit show called the WWE. I could feel my lip quivering. I was so worked up. It took everything in me to hold back tears, and shook my head like someone who silently shared my frustration. "Okay, I get it," she said. "I get it." I nodded, indicated that I had my piece. I moved to leave where she stretched her hands out, and I thought to shake mine. Instead, instead, he leaned in and gently touched my arm, and he dipped his head, looking up at me, and his tone shifted from authority figure to friend. "But how are you?" he asked sincerely. I burst into tears, not just not just crying, but bawling. "I'm so tired," I said. "I'm tired, and that's what I feel like. It's changing my personality. I'm so much more anxious and stressed, negative, butter scraped, like butter scraped over too much on bread." So that is what Ronda Rousey says. That is what Ronda Rousey said. I feel bad for Drew because Ronda ruined his. Yeah, well, Ronda Rousey. Now, I just read this was an excerpt after she had a conversation with Triple H. She said if Triple H ran WWE over Vince before she left, she would have stayed in the WWE. But she hated Vince. She hated Vince McMahon, and she hated the WWE, and she keeps calling it a casting couch S show, and she kept bashing the WWE over and over and over again. And I'm going to explain something to you all. I'm going to explain to you, her last run in the WWE was abysmal. Ronda Rousey was horrendous. Her promos were horrendous. Her wrestling was horrendous. Everything she did, it was horrendous. When she touched everything in the WWE, it turned to crap. It turned to crap. It turned to crap. And that is what it is the honest truth. Her run was abysmal. So this article, this article here, this thing here with her interaction with Triple H, I understand it complicitly. She wanted him to run the show. He couldn't at that time because he was not in charge at that time. Mr. McMahon was. But she keeps calling the WWE a casting couch. Listen, the WWE is not a casting couch. It almost seems like she was having a meltdown when she didn't get what she wanted. Yeah, that's exactly what it was, Sarah. That's exactly what it was. She sat there and because she couldn't get her way, she was crying, she was pouting, she was talking about tagging with Shayna, and then the turn on Shayna, and then the incident with Shayna, and then the something. Okay, we get all of that. That's exactly what it was, Sarah. Yeah, exactly, Mac. Everybody that's listening. Yeah, this is what it is. This is exactly what it is. And yeah, bro. When she couldn't get her way, Ronda Rousey, she was pouting and pouting and pouting and pouting and pouting and pouting and pouting, and it was just absolutely ridiculous. It was absolutely ridiculous. But like I said before, I'll say it again. Her second run in the WWE was abysmal. And if she truly didn't like being there because of it, then why is it? Why doesn't she? Why didn't she came back? That's a great question. So I don't know. Maybe that's what happens. When money talks and BS walks. That statement, ladies and gentlemen, guys. And that's a fact. Yeah, that is a fact, Chad. That is a fact. And because here's the thing. Here's the thing, guys. Here's the thing. Um, if you think a company is so bad and stinks so putridly and so bad, why in the world would you reapply? Why in the world would you reapply? That's a great question. Why would you reapply to a company that you hate so bad and disdain so much? Why would you apply? Yeah, why would you apply? If I would listen, here's the thing. If I had worked for a company and they treated me like donkey doo doo, would you think in my heart of hearts, I'm going to reapply to that company? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. I'm not going to sit there. I am not going to sit there and reapply to something or to someone who's going to manipulate me or make me feel unwanted and make me feel uncomfortable and make me feel like less than. Because I'll tell you this much, we in this country, we in this world, we are more than less than. We have different things that we bring to the table. Everybody has unique qualities about them that they bring to a company and they bring to the table. But you want those qualities that you bring to the table valued and cherished and know and hone on to it and know how to hone in on it. So I don't want to hear anybody say anything differently. Because I know all of you out there. I know you all work hard. Everybody works hard. Sometimes I work over 40 hours a week. And if you think for 1 minute that if I put in over 40 hours a week to a company that didn't value me, you think I would do that? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. I want to be valued. I want somebody to recognize that I work hard at what I do. And I'm doing it to the best of my ability. I want to be valued. I want to be welcomed. I'm not saying like every week you walk into an office and everybody there's a party going on. No, I'm not saying that. But what I am saying is that once in a while recognize the hard work. That's all I'm saying. And that's all that anybody, I think that's all that anybody wants. But Ronda Rousey here, getting back to Ronda Rousey, I'm getting off my soapbox. Ronda Rousey has issues, deep seated issues that need to be addressed. She needs to move on with her life and stop bashing the WWE. You don't work there anymore, sister. You don't work there. You don't work there anymore. Don't worry about the company. Worry about your husband. Worry about your children. Worry about your future. Stop clapping back at the WWE for every stupid thing. Stop bashing them. Stop cursing at them. Stop doing this. You're making yourself look like a crazy, delusional fool. Stop clapping back at them. Do something with your life. She's making herself look unhinged when she bashes WWE with unsolicited opinions. Absolutely, 1,000%. I agree with that assessment. I'm sorry. I I'm sorry, Rhonda. You could go back to your UFC fighting and stop worrying about the wrestling. Absolutely, Chad. Absolutely, Chad. I agree with your assessment. Ronda Rousey, you can go back to your UFC fighting and stop worrying about the wrestling world. I agree with 100%, Chad. I agree. Do something with your life. Don't take your health, your energy, your time, your thing, and waste on a company you don't work there for. It's not worth it. It's not worth it. It's not worth it. It's not worth it. Life is so short and so precious. Don't worry about what WWE does. Do you think the WWE cares about a former employee that they let go? No, they got other things to do in the company. The WWE policy is here today, gone tomorrow. I mean, you have to understand that you don't work there anymore and you need to move on with your life, Ronda Rousey. All right. It's funny to me that for someone who seems to loathe pro wrestling so much, she's like to constantly bring up and back. She's like to, yeah, She's- yeah, I agree with that, Sarah. It's funny to me that for someone who seems to loathe pro wrestling so much, she sure likes to constantly bring them up and bash them. I agree with that, Sarah. I agree. I agree wholeheartedly, 100%. All right. All right. Now it's time, everyone. Now it's time. We're going to discuss, we are going to discuss this Mr. McMahon scandal. And there was a couple of pieces that I left out on Thursday on the wrestling experience with me and Sarah. By the way, me and Sarah will return with the wrestling experience this Thursday night. We hope that you'll tune in for that. And Sarah's in the chat as always. And you can always follow her on social media. But make sure you have the correct change or else Miss Sarah will make you snap, tap, or nap. Um, but getting back to the Vince McMahon story, well, I have several pieces here that I forgot in my head and in my notes that I totally forgotten. And we're going to bring them out. And then we're going to go back to the article that I had brought out on Thursday. So one thing that I mentioned was Brock Lesnar. Okay. Originally, Brock was supposed to participate in the Royal Rumble event, but those plans were derailed because of the legal complications stemming from the Mr. McMahon lawsuit. Alongside his absence from the WWE broadcast, Lesnar has faced additional setbacks in his relationship with the company. Notably, he was excluded from the roster of the latest WWE video game, WWE 2K24, and was removed from the creative future plans. These developments have raised questions about the status of Lesnar in the future. But according to Dave Meltzer of the Wrestling newsletter, it was reported that Lesnar it needs to be cleared by WWE's legal team in order for him to make a return, but that has not happened yet. According to any rumor, Lesnar returning would be according to any rumors of Lesnar returning, he has been cleared by the WWE legal. Remember, WWE is still a defendant in the Janelle Grant lawsuit, and that hasn't happened yet. So he has to be cleared by WWE legal in order for him to return to the WWE. And from what I understand, some of his suspension has been, some of his listing has been lifted. So some of his suspension has been lifted. Some of the things that he has been lifted from has been lifted. Does this mean that he would go and return to the WWE? Walter, how are you? Hi, how are you doing? Happy Saturday to you. Um, Here's the thing, and make sure everybody in the chat, please make sure you hit the like button. Thank you. And like, subscribe, and share on the Hardcore Sports. And I don't think the WWE should bring back Lesnar in the WWE because this scandal, this whole Mr. McMahon scandal, is still ongoing, and pieces keep coming out every which way but loose. According to the airport, I just left the line. I just finished it. Okay, Drew. Thank you so much. Thank you. And and here's the thing. Here's the thing with Lesnar. I think you're going to be making a mistake bringing Lesnar back because this scandal is still ongoing, and the trial hasn't even happened yet. And wait till you hear the latest bombshell that I have with this scandal. because there, like I said on the wrestling experience, I left out pieces of this pie, but I'm gonna fill up all the pie today here on the show. So so Lesnar Lesnar is not a person that does value in the WWE. Doesn't do now. I know that some of you are Lesnar fans. I know that some of you are Lesnar fans, and if you feel differently from me, that's fine. That's fine. I'm not going to stomp on your thought process. I'm not going to trample on your thought process. Whatever you believe, that's what you believe, and that's fine. Okay. Lesnar, Rafael, buenos dias, Rafael. How are you? Happy Saturday to you. Um, so Lesnar coming back to the WWE would be a mistake. I think it would be a monumental mistake if you brought him back. Because here's the thing, we don't know if he was involved in the scandal. Tyler, how are you? And how are you doing today? Hit the like button, everyone. Thank you so much. And subscribe to my YouTube channel. And subscribe to the Hardcore Sports. Um, and here's the thing. Here's the thing. Lesnar coming back to the WWE would be not good. And I don't know if the fans want to see Lesnar back in there after what they were reading with this scandal. Him being off of WWE TV is the best thing for this company because you don't want a distraction. Because that's what Lesnar will be. If he returns to the WWE, he would be a distraction. Because in the back of your mind, you're gonna sit there and say, "Oh well, wasn't he a part of that Mr. You know everybody's gonna talk. You know everyone's gonna talk, and that is something you don't want. Even if Lesnar is innocent, he will still carry that negative stigma with him. So if they would bring him back, it'll bring. Yes, Sarah, absolutely. Absolutely. 1000% I agree with you. If Lesnar comes back, that luggage, that Mr. McMahon luggage, is what he would bring to the locker room. If it's proven that he didn't do anything. But if he was complicit, I hope they won't bring him. Yeah, I agree with you. If it was proven that Lesnar was complicit, and he was complicit in this scandal, and he did the things that I don't think that they need to service of less than viewership is back up, and young talent is finally getting to get pushed. Exactly, Matt. 1000% I agree with you. I agree with everyone's assessment. Lesnar does not deserve to be put back into the WWE fold because, like I said before, I'll say it again. He still hasn't said. Well, he did say that he didn't do anything, but that still does not carry any weight. The question is, was he complicit, and does he know other things that goes on? And does he know everything else? Does he know more than what he's putting on? That is something that we need to know. Because if he was complicit in this scandal, then he needs to be removed entirely. We don't need this albatross around our neck carrying around the locker room. I don't want Brock Lesnar to go back to the WWE. Um, if he was complicit, then his goose is cooked. Absolutely, Sarah. If he was complicit, if he was complicit, then then we don't need that. I don't want Lesnar to go back to the WWE. Vince ruined his career, and I have respect to I have respect to Brock. No, Tyler, I understand what you're saying about Lesnar. I understand what you're saying, and I respectfully disagree. I respectfully disagree with your comment because here's the thing: Lesnar doesn't have much in his repertoire. His last run in the WWE was horrendous. It was horrendous, and Lesnar has nothing in his repertoire. All Lesnar does is give you an M5, a Kimura lock, and a super. That's it. That is it for Lesnar in his repertoire. In order to be a good wrestler, female or male, doesn't matter, female or male, you have to have something in your repertoire, something different in your repertoire to bring to the table so that everybody can be invested in your talent and hone in on that talent and come in on that talent. You have to have some kind of of structure to your repertoire. Mm. And if you don't have that structure, how is somebody going to hone in on that or want to see that? You have to have something good in your repertoire in order for it to be the hook to draw you in. Because you have to have a good repertoire. You have to. So, you know, so that's the thing. That's the thing. That's the thing with Lesnar. I don't want him back in the WWE. I don't want him back. He serves no value. Excuse me. Pardon me. He serves no value. And I'm not a fan of Lesnar. I'm not a fan. His last run was terrible. His last run was terrible. So I'm sorry, guys, but I understand that you are a fan of Lesnar. I understand. And again, like I said, I'm not trampling on your thought process. I'm not going to trample on it. So that's the thing with Lesnar. But then here's some more stuff about this Mr. McMahon. Okay. According to RingsideNews.com, the Janelle Grant Vince McMahon saga is surely far from over now, since Grant has allegedly formed the chairman of sex trafficking and abuse. New developments about Mr. McMahon parting ways with the WWE have surfaced on the internet. The former chairman has now have no shares in the WWE or TKO stocks. He's completely out of the books of both companies. So Mr. McMahon is no longer have shares. He doesn't have shares in TKO anymore, and he doesn't have no more shares in the WWE. His shares are John. And I'm going to tell you why that is in a minute. I'm going to tell you why. I'm going to continue reading. Recently, it was reported that Mr. McMahon's legal team wanted to settle things outside of court, but things got uglier. Rather, Grant's legal team has been releasing claims of falsehood and attack of the chairman's moral character. Well, I don't think it's false. I don't think it's falsehood, and I don't think it's. Listen, Mr. McMahon is gross. If you want me to be perfectly honest with you all, he's gross. What's next for Brock Lesnar? He needs to. He needs. Well, Tyler, I don't know what's next for Lesnar. I don't know what's next for Lesnar. All I know is, Tyler, at this point, Lesnar needs help if this thing is true with the McMahon scan and he was tied to it. He needs help. And it's the WWE is not the answer. So, but anyway, I'm going to continue with the article. Okay, so Grant's legal team has been releasing claims of falsehood and attack of their client's moral character. Vince McMahon have no morals. He has no morals. The man is gross towards women. He's gross. Do you see? Let me tell you something. Let me explain something to you all. Mr. McMahon has no morals. The man goes in there and book bra and panty matches. He had Trish Stratus crawling around on all fours, barking like a dog. He has bikini parties at his house. He did some kind of thing to Mike McGurk in a limousine. He is gross. He is gross 110%. He's gross. The man has no morals. The way he does the way he sizes up women, the man is gross. He needs help. He needs professional help. He's got some problems. I'm sorry, but he's got some issues. Okay, so, however, after a lot of silence, Vince McMahon's legal team has issued a memorandum stating that Grant loved Mr. McMahon and wanted everything she has been complaining about to the court. While a lot of things were explained in the memorandum release, a key a key part stated that McMahon was Grant's best friend. What? He was? Oh, what? I don't think they were best friends. I'm sorry. I don't buy that. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I don't buy that. Now let me explain something to you. If somebody was sexually harassing you and they were doing things to make you feel uncomfortable, and they were saying gross things to you that were inappropriate, would you be their best friend? Come on. Come on now, guys. Come on. If you believe that part of the story, then I got a bridge to sell you. And it's called the Brooklyn Bridge. You cannot be best friends with somebody. You can't be best friends with somebody who sexually harassed you. Can't do that. I agree with you 100%. Yes, if somebody is making you feel icky inside, I'm going to use that word icky, and they were saying inappropriate things to you, or whispering at you, or looking you up and down lustily, would you want to be friends with that? Would you want to be friends? Be honest. I want everybody in the chat. Be honest with me. Would you want to be friends with somebody like that? No. The answer is no. The answer is unequivocally no. And if you say yes, then something's wrong with you. Would you want to be friends with somebody like no? And would you want to be best friends? No. because you would feel violated. Nobody wants to be feeling violated and uncomfortable. I mean, come on now. What world are we living in? They were never best friends. That's a crock of baloney. I don't buy that at all. And then what he did to Ashley Rosario on top of that. Truly horrific. But I have more to this story. Oh yes. Oh yes. I'm not. I'm not done. I'm not done. Okay. So the WrestlingNews.co. Now this is what I brought out on Thursday. So this all ties into what I'm going to read right now. Here comes another bombshell. In a sealed filing, this happened on Thursday. In a sealed filing, the U.S. Attorney's Office of Southern District of New York presented materials to the federal court of the probe that has opened in the disgraced McMahon in World of Wrestling Entertainment and ex-executive John Laurinaitis. So the DOJ, the Department of Justice, is now going to put their foot and they're going to get involved in this Mr. McMahon scandal. So that is the bombshell. Mr. McMahon now is going to be in deep trouble because now the DOJ is going to be involved. The Department of Justice is getting involved. And Laurinaitis is a pig too. Laurinaitis, anybody that was with Mr. McMahon and they did this stuff behind the scenes with women is absolutely a pig. And I don't respect people who do that to women. I'm sorry, but I don't mean to be nasty or anything, but I have to stand my ground with that. This thing with Mr. McMahon was absolutely gross. Now the DOJ is going to get involved, the Department of Justice. So all of those pieces are being tied in. And still, like I said before, I'll say it again, I don't want Lesnar back in the WWE because that 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 distraction we don't need. We don't need that. Mr. McMahon being best friends with Janelle Grant, that's a full of baloney. That's full of baloney. And this thing with him and Laurinaitis, and I'm going to tell you this much. Those text messages that Janelle Grant asked, and I read this many months ago on the Wrestling Experience, which you can go back and watch the archives. And I'll tell you this much. I read those text messages, and those text messages were absolutely horrific. It came from the Wall Street Journal. She screenshotted those things and she brought it out. And those things, and I'm not going to bring it up again. I'm not going to read it again. I don't want to look at them again. I don't need to see them again. But if Lesnar or anyone else was complicit in this scandal and it found out to be true and they lied about it, they need to be prosecuted. And if you're in the cover and if you are in the company currently and you were involved in this Mr. McMahon scandal, and you were complicit in it, you need to be fired and prosecuted. And that's my take on it. And I stand by that 100% unequivocally. So, ladies and gentlemen, yes, Tyler, Vince McMahon is in trouble. Vince McMahon is in deep trouble. And there's no way that he's going to get out of this. Not this time. Not this time. Not with all the evidence coming out. Not with, and another thing too is I want to add another piece to this element of the story. There is a law group. There is a law group in Chicago. There's a law group in Chicago, and they have a website. They have this website where you can go on. Now, if you were a woman who worked for the WWE or you are currently in the WWE and you are an executive woman and you were harassed or sexually harassed by Vince McMahon, you can go on that website and tell your story anonymously. And I believe that company, that group of lawyers in Chicago, are going to team up with the DOJ to bring down Mr. McMahon. And once that happens, Mr. McMahon's reputation, his his character, and everything that we used to know back in the days is going in the garbage because it already is. So Mr. McMahon is in trouble, and there's no wiggle room out of that. But anyway, ladies and gentlemen, that's going to do it. That is going to do it for the Wrestling Chronicles. We gave you wrestling's juicy, juicy hot topics. We want to thank you all for in the chat. We want to thank you. Now, don't forget tonight we have Collision Watch Along with Tati and Martina. Great show. Thank you, Dro. Thank you so much. And Tati and Martina will bring you Collision tonight on TNT at 8 p.m. right here at the Hardcore Sports. And remember, follow them on Twitch at Hardcore Sports. Follow them on Facebook at Hardcore Sports. Follow them on Instagram at Hardcore Sports. Follow them on Spotify at Hardcore Sports. Follow them on X at Hardcore Sports. And of course, subscribe to their YouTube channel. And hit the like button. Hit the like button on my channel. Hit the like button on the Hardcore Sports. And we hope you had a great Saturday morning, now Saturday afternoon here at the Hardcore Sports. And thank you all so much for your time and energy. I greatly appreciate you. I will be back in cyberspace on Monday night for Monday Night Raw. Raw comes to you from Hershey, PA. And we're going to have fun with that telecast. So again, I want to thank you all for watching the Wrestling Chronicles Volume 2. It's been a pleasure serving you. I hope you have a safe and enjoyable rest of the Saturday afternoon. It's gorgeous out. Get out and enjoy the sun. Have some fun. And I'll see you again in cyberspace once again on Monday night for Monday Night Raw. I'm Earl Gold, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for watching the Wrestling Chronicles. It's been a pleasure. Have a great afternoon, everyone, and thank you for watching.
You've landed on the long ship. Welcome to Planet Experience. Welcome to the Wrestling Experience.